Hi, how are you guys? Welcome to our second episode of the Freedom of Speech. Today we'll be focusing more on a community that has been historically oppressed, and in some nations or countries they've been persecuted. But we've seen positive strides over the years from this community, which we now know as the LGBTQI community. So today we have a couple of students who will be discussing more, engaging and educating us regarding the LGBTQI community. So I'll say enjoy the show and let's go and join the panel. I hope you guys are doing great. So can you please just quickly introduce yourselves from maybe you, the last person.
Okay, I am Sushi.
Hi, I'm Amo.
Hi, I'm Makosazana.
Shanice.
Mark.
Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate you giving us your time. So in the past decade, the world has seen a bit of progress, especially with the integration of the gay community. In Africa, Lower Africa, I can even go as far as saying, especially in South Africa, right? How has that affected you guys, especially you guys sitting here?
Affected, like an impact?
Yeah, an impact or the effect of the progress. How is there real progress?
Yeah, there is real progress actually, right? Yes. I agree, because when we look back in the days, now you can walk around with your boyfriend or whoever that you love in public, even though people are going to look at you, but no one's actually going to do anything to you, compared to back in the days where if you found involved in a homosexual relationship, then there had to be consequences like prison or being neglected by society and things like that. So now we are free to marry whoever you want. It doesn't matter if people like it or not, but you have that chance to actually do that. So that is progress.
Just quickly, you are talking you say in Africa, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe when we are talking about the South African perspective, yeah, we are allowed to express ourselves. But then if you move around in other countries, it's a taboo in other countries. People actually still get arrested for being gay. So when it comes to South Africa, I think we have evolved, but other countries, I do not think so.
I feel like anyone.
Other countries in Africa.
The country thing, yeah, we are free when it comes to the country, but it depends on which community you go to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Each community has different rules and regulations, whether we are aware of it or not. There's like probably gonna be someone saying something.
That's true.
Also, as much as we can say there's been progress, it's kind of superficial, because if you look at it, it's still seen as anti-African. Black cultures have their own issues and their own norms about it.
Yes,
in the
that's
black
true.
culture, you're told you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. If you're visible, you are told to tone it down a bit or whatever, because it bazuthina abantu basically.
Okay.
Abantu bagini or lento lena, like example, most black cultures go through initiation. So then it comes as a thing now that okay, you go through initiation and then you come out of initiation, or going into initiation is like, how does that now go with your identity? Because now in your culture it's a sort of a taboo, and there's people still opposed to it.
So on that, staying on that, do you guys feel like part of the stigma comes from Africanism and cultural values, or even maybe religion, church?
Especially religion and the African culture.
Yeah, because I feel like we had a time in our lives, in the world in general, where some things are becoming antiquated. it's like now we have to take our culture and then bring it into the 21st century, because all of the things and all of the ideas and norms are backdated. Even with religion, there's like the Bible. In the beginning of the Bible, it tells you this. At the end of the Bible, it tells you this. So there's always going to be that sort of confusion.
Anyone else?
But honestly, I think it's going to be ignorant if we say we don't see progress, because there's so much progress that has been happening. Come to like apartheid thing, we're still not there, but like there's been a huge progress.
Sure.
So we can't sit here and say there's no progress when it comes to homosexuality, because there's like huge things that are happening. Campaigns, we have the Pride campaign, which raises awareness. We have churches that accept these things. We have communities that, you know, empower these things. So yeah, there's really so much progress happening.
Anyone else who wants to add something about religion and Africanism?
Well, I think while elders see it as ihlazo, or whatever they might call it, I feel like there is actually progress, as you were saying. There are other people, or if I can say, other teenagers back at home who are still in the dark, who are still in the closet, you know, trying to hide themselves from becoming exposed to who they truly are. But I feel like with the exposure that the LGBT community has gotten so far, I feel like there's support, there's campaigns.
Yeah.
So it kind of pushes that child back at home who's sitting and who's in the closet, who's not free or who's afraid of coming out.
Yeah.
And obviously we have culture, we have religion, ekaya, ukuletiwa, uvan, ntombazane, that does not mix. And religion, they tell us that God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You see, there's just so many things that are still stumbling blocks. But honestly, I feel like there's a lot of evolving that is happening. And with support, I mean, there's a lot of people who can actually be their truest versions of themselves, unapologetically.
But I also think it also goes with visibility. Looking back then, growing up, you didn't see anyone who you can identify with, you know?
Okay.
The youth, if you want to be a soccer player, there's somebody to look at. If you want to be a singer or rapper, there's someone to look at. And then you get the industry, like entertainment industry or society as a whole, who has this idea of how, if I can say it in my own way, someone's supposed to be gay. Like, for a woman, tomboy, butch, or whatever. For a man, feminine, nails, fashion, and all that.
Yeah.
And that's not how it is. Because you can find a guy who likes guys, but plays soccer is the most masculine man you even know. Right?
Sure.
What the hell? And then you find someone, because that's how society has been wired. Or this is how it is. So with visibility, I think it's like where we are now is that the kids that are coming after us. There's a phrase that we crawl, we walk so they could run. So now that it's becoming more visible, people are like, okay, I see myself in that one. And because this one can play soccer and is this way, that way, and it's not fashion or whatever, I can be that person and be a truest reflection of myself in that way.
So would you like describe it as if, like, back in the day, it was, you didn't have like positive, let's say, role model, or you didn't have that many role models as compared to now? Or it's now there's been so much progress that you feel a young child would feel comfortable or even less threatened with coming out?
But you know, I think there's more exposure once you finish school, you get to varsity.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when you get to know all the LGBT campaigns and everything that is going on.
I think it has to do with being aware, you know. I think most of us grew up thinking people were against homosexuality.
True.
Because most people weren't clued up, if I may put it that way, weren't clued up about what, or like as Toro has said, how should we be identified and the society. Yeah, I think it's something based on societal standards,
Okay.
and the question would prevail: who set those standards?
It also goes with ignorance. Because people have the idea that if you like, if a man wants to be with a man who has feelings for a man, one of them has to be a woman. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of them has to be a woman. You always get the question like, so who's the man and who's the woman? And then the first thought that comes into my mind is, you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's I don't like this term, but people need to be educated.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not our responsibility to educate people. Because read a book, watch a documentary. Those two things are the best sources of education you can get from anything.
So here's another thing.
I want to disagree on him
Okay.
because I'm from a family where they actually have accepted me since day one. So I never had this problem. But when I got here, it was like, okay, why is everyone staring at me so terrible? At first I thought it's because I'm white, but then I saw other lighting complexion people and I'm like, nah, what's this thing? So I feel like to add on to the point where you said we do need to educate people, because I was the person who had to educate my family on what I am and to understand what I am.
Can I bring in something though?
Okay.
In terms of with cultural differences growing up, especially black, would you say racially it's more opposed as to when you are a person of different color, white man?
I think white people, okay, I can't stand in a space and say white people have it better, but I do have white people in my orbit and I think they have it better because some black people usually say it's a white thing.
Yeah.
They like to say it's a white thing. So with black, I think with black, being black then, we have a woman is supposed to do this. The man goes, buys, goes to work, gets the bacon, comes home, a wife cooks and cleans. So like gender roles are so entrenched, like it's starched in. So with other culture, with other races, I don't think is it?
No, it's definitely different in all the races.
Yeah, it's definitely different in all the races. So with black people, it's like, and it goes back to the whole thing of people don't know the difference between sexuality and gender identity.
Okay.
Because there's a difference. Gender identity is how you see yourself as a gender.
Okay.
So it could be somebody who's like, okay, I was born in the wrong body, I want to transition and be something else. And then sexuality is like, hey, I just like what I like, and it looks like me. What I like looks like me.
Yes. So this one I would like at least maybe all of you to comment on it. In South Africa right now, you will face some sort of a stigma when you're walking.
What?
Whether some sort of umuntu commenting or looking at you in a type of way that you don't like. Yeah, like I would like you guys to comment on that, like majority of you, because how does it feel when things like corrective rape are practiced? Do you feel safe when stigma when you walk in society, in your community? You know, Guti, it's a predominantly black community, and when you go out clubbing, when you go out to the shop, do you still feel right now in South Africa, Guti, your general community or general society is finding it easy to?
I've never felt threatened because it happens on campus all the time. For example, there'll be a group of boys sitting on the stairs, and when you have to walk in between them, they'll just whistle, compliment you. Like, that's like what do we want?
I think it's ignorance. Yeah, it always comes back to being ignorant. I mean, nowadays there's homosexuality or homosexual education is everywhere. I mean, they portray it all over. It's all over social media, it's on TV, like you see it everywhere. So I feel like it's just plain ignorance. I mean, some people, when walking past a group of people, always get nasty comments because I think people want to identify a gay nigger as someone who is feminine, someone who has a wig on, makeup on, and I personally, I don't have anything against that, but I'm comfortable being masculine.
Well, in terms of being safe, I honestly want to explain this to a lot of people because I feel like a lot of people in the South African gay community don't understand. I feel my most safest when I'm here because I grew up in different African countries, moving around. I know how it is to be scared to go out and be feminine. Do you understand? I know how it is to get off a plane and walk to passport control and you have to change how you walk and how you act and like be a man because you're scared what people think. So I think, for me, I feel my most safest when I'm here.
To support his statement,
I'm bothered by the fact that people ask what you are. Like you could be passing by, walking normally on a normal day, and someone be like, "Hi, can I ask you a question? Are you lesbian? Are you gay? Why are you lesbian? Why don't you like think stupid questions like that?" That's what's bothering me.
when it comes to the issue of safety, I can walk around the street of Joburg without giving a fuck. I can walk around the street of Vaal without giving a fuck. But when it comes to home, I can be gay, but to a certain extent. It's like, we know you're gay, but don't brush it in our face. So I can't be as free as I am when I'm here compared to when I'm at home. But I'm still gay, but I'm not completely gay.
So what you're saying is basically anonymity. Like if people don't know you, then you feel okay outside of your community. But then there's also the aspect you need to think about is like when you go to a day. Because walking and holding hands, like that's another issue because then people look some type of way. Because I remember, it was last year during Pride, there was this other dude who went outside, we were kissing. So one of the car guards had something to say, yeah? So we ignored him, and then he carried on. So now it got to a point where, okay, dude, you're getting aggressive.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, I lost it, and I wanted to kick his face in at that point. So it's those type of things where, okay, now and if it was, because it was just him, so if it was more than one person, it would have been an issue now. Like, what neza, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, like there's 10 of them, we can't take them two on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, with the other people are straight. Yeah. It's like, okay, like, oh, cute couple.
Yeah, true.
But then, if you're with your babe, you're in love, and like because like when you're with someone, or with friends or whatnot, you're in your element, you're comfortable. So it's like, now you have to also think about your safety and awareness. Okay, we are walking through pre-taxi right now, stop.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in terms of, especially on the lesbian side, do you feel like our protection service, police and all of that, are doing enough or have done enough in terms of attacks? And it can also relate to all of you, because sometimes there are cases of murder, and then there are cases of rape. Do you feel like our protection service and all of that in this country is doing enough?
Personally, I would say, no offense, nothing can ever make them help us. Whether we lesbian, gay, straight, honestly. So you need to help yourself in order to get help. You understand?
Yes.
So that question of yours would go, does the females go actually to ask for help? does the
Okay.
males go actually to ask for help? That's the question.
Adding on to the lesbian part, like in order to feel safe, you have to be more masculine. You have to have your legs spread out so that you gain respect. You know, so it's fine.
But the thing is, with some of these cops, because like if something were to happen to a woman, like corrective rape or something, if she were to go there and she were to talk to these people, and it's a black guy, cultural bias, like I'm lying, basically, you will learn. Now they're teaching you what a woman is supposed to do.
There's been a big debate or talk about amagender pronouns. So not everyone prefers to be called or identified with a specific gender. They prefer to be called what they prefer to be called. So can you please clarify on that, and if you are with that or when you prefer being identified the way a person would sees you?
Yeah, most people, you'll get a very feminine gay who's comfortable with being called chomi, girl, sisi, whatever. And then when that particular person finds out that I'm gay, thinks I'm also comfortable with being called that. And whereas I see myself as a guy, I prefer he, him, someone is a child. So, yeah. But when they must understand that we're not all comfortable with being called with those pronouns.
Yeah, and I also move with that because in most cases you find people think if you're gay, okay, you prefer being chomi. And that's rude. Not, according to me, it's very rude.
Yeah.
I may be gay, but don't call me chomi. My name is Sandy. Please call me Sandy. Yes. Because when you're saying chomi, it's something else now. It's like, yes, so like I'm too CC or something, and it's very low. Yes.
Like
I'm not CC. Yeah. I may be gay, but at the end, I'm a guy. Even if we're fighting me, I may be gay, it's okay.
I
don't care what I'm being called, but it depends who's
saying it
and how they say it. You can't be a straight mate and then come and call me Joe.
But also I feel like straight people should learn how to ask. What I want to be called, or something like that.
Okay.
Sure. No, but the thing with gender pronouns, it also goes back to gender identity. Because there's cisgender and then there's queer. Queer people fall into another spectrum, because if you identify as a guy but you are trans, then you want to be called what you identify as. And then if, like, between friends, they call each other things, and then people assume, I'm not your friend.
Sure. Can I get any last thoughts?
Well, personally, I am straight. I'm not part of the homosexual community, but I feel like they are as equal as we are, right? And I feel like we should not segregate them just because we call ourselves straight, and because they feel comfortable in being who they are. So I think the world in general needs to change their minds as well as their hearts, because at the end of the day we are all equal, and between me and nawe. And by us changing our hearts as well as changing our minds, I feel like it will also give them that platform to be free, like fully free, to express themselves and who they are.
Starting a whole different
She was
conversation.
starting another conversation right now. I believe I'm also straight. I'm straight into guys. I'm sorry. There's no difference between you and I. We're both human. Thank you.
I'm strictly doing woman. Straight.
I'm straight.
Sure.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, straight key.
Yeah.
Because we all
And
straight
it's
now.
not in a disrespectful manner. And I'm not saying it in a disrespectful manner, but I'm saying it in a way that I'm not trying to offend you guys and saying you gays or
No, you
whatever.
don't.
So that is why I
We are
use that
correcting
term.
it. We are fixing the country also.
Okay.
We are fixing the country also.
Sure.
And this thing, you're classifier. Yeah, bullshit. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, oh, lesbian. Oh, digatani. Oh. How
Just
am I-
like she just did right now,
You know?
I'm straight.
I feel like the
Call
world
me by my name.
they
If you don't
just
know my name, ask
topic.
me. Ricky Man. And that's it.
The world doesn't have a topic to talk about. You see, we went from apartheid talking about black and white. Now it's gays. Now we are classified as gay and straight. Like I said, we're straight gays, so we also straight.
You also
True.
Okay, my final thoughts. Okay, let's start there. This whole thing, the world and whatnot. I think everybody in the world tries to categorize people. Like, if you we have gotten to the point in the world where we put things in a box. They try to box you on site. They try to box you wherever you go. With women, a woman can't do this, blah blah blah. With men, and so forth and so forth. So, which is like, you can subscribe to any category, but then that's your choice.
True.
Yeah. And then my final thought is this, we don't want acceptance. Like, whether you accept me or you don't accept me.
What's there to say?
No choice, your baby to nurse.
Sure.
But respect. Like, respect me who I am, because first and foremost, I'm Twarelo. I am a person, I do this, I do that, I like this, I like that. Who I sleep with, who I choose to love is not, it's who I am at my core, but it's not who I am in my totality.
It's true, yeah.
So with that being said, just because I love differently or I do this differently, it doesn't mean it's all I am. So just respect me and I respect you, because I don't come there and be like, okay, so when I'm
Any last thoughts? Yes.
Like to clarify the issue of sexuality. We get to a point where like people feel like gay people are confused because they don't understand the whole sexuality spectrum. We have people who are bisexual, so we find people saying, oh my god, gay people are so confused. The minute you're dating girls, the other minute you're dating guys, what is happening here? There's different spectrum of sexuality which include bisexuality, where someone is in love with both genders. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
With the whole sexuality thing, it's actually, sexuality is fluid, literally. Like, some people will be one way for the rest of their lives, then some people will go in and out of a different category, so it's fluid.
That goes to gender fluid. There's gender fluid people, and there's people that don't have, they stay to one spectrum. I can be gay for the rest of my life, and there's someone who can be gay and straight after a while. Like, talk about Miley Cyrus. She's gender fluid. She's either in love with girls completely, or she's in love with guys completely. Not that she's bisexual.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's fluid. Like, some people, that's why I was saying that you can flow in and out of it, like some people, but with some people you're going to be the same way for the rest of your life. And the thing is, we just need to stop categorizing people and putting a stamp on a person. Get to know a person as a person before you go into the other stamp. Yeah, it doesn't even matter, because it's something you do behind closed doors.
Anyone else? Last thoughts?
Say this. Like, I want to say this, and I want to put it in my language, guys. I want to say, please, learn from cinema fun, especially guys from VUT. Guys from VUT.
Sure.
We people sing about, it's not like with some sort of animals or whatsoever. There was this other time I was wearing my short, okay, in the amphitheater. Then from amphitheater to where I was going, it was GW 105. Can you just imagine that distance? They were going behind my back whistling. What's that?
Yeah.
Hopefully, they show us about to be also people.
I think it comes
Respect.
to humanity. It's not just
Yeah.
being gay. It
Respect.
comes to humanity in
Just like
general.
next time we do it, turn around and give them something that
Yeah,
they
just
belittle
give them a
them.
pose or something.
Some person just belittle them because they think they're belittling you by doing that. Whereas you can be enjoying what they're doing, they understand. Show off, shake your body if you want to shake your body. Just do more to irritate them. That's all.
Yeah, because they're trying to make you
Yes,
feel more.
like
Yeah, they're trying to make
I
feel of a
have
person.
2 female symbols that I drew myself on a t-shirt. And I come with that thing to school because I know they're gonna stay. And what they're gonna see my boobs first. Then they're gonna see 2 female symbols. Oh, she's lesbian.
Okay.
Just do it extra. Do
okay.
it more.
You guys have been really great. We appreciate having you in our show, and hopefully, people got to learn something, and people get to try and respect you guys, and we'll try to live amongst each other with respect, not tolerance, not acceptance, not community, with respect. So hopefully this will get out there, and people will start thinking differently and in a different manner. You guys have been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.